Good morning. It's Lisa Patterson with Daniel Ravenel Sotheby's International Realty in beautiful historic Charleston, South Carolina. And today I'm with Kara from United Community Bank. Welcome, Kara.
Hello.
How's it going this morning?
Good. How are you, Lisa?
Good. So Kara and I work together a lot. A lot of my clients work with Kara. That's how I met her. And I actually just finished my second time of working with Kara on an investment property, which I've bought a lot of properties and I can't say it enough. Every time I work with Kara, it is seamless. I never have an issue. And we
Oh,
always close on time. So that's the other big one. But let's talk about, because this is some of the things, even though I've bought a lot of houses, that I ask you questions during the process. And, I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, investors. Sometime I'm working with someone right now that's buying something. They're like, oh my gosh, we haven't bought anything for 20 years. We forgot. So
yeah.
let's talk about the questions that people have, like the do's and the don'ts. What
Yes.
should and should not do during the mortgage process.
Okay, absolutely. So, mortgage guidelines change regularly. That is something that happens very frequently in our world. But there are some common do's and don'ts that everyone should just keep in mind when they're in this process. So, one of the big questions we have is getting your credit pooled, especially when you're getting closer to closing and you may be wanting to turn on utilities, you're wanting to buy some furniture, something like that. A general rule of thumb is do not have your credit pooled. If it's something that is going to create a trade line where we are going to see, there's usually some software program in the background where we're monitoring any trade line inquiries or any hard or soft inquiries on your credit. But for utilities, that's okay. But general rule of thumb, do not have your credit pooled under any circumstances. Another thing is moving money. Especially right now in the market economy that we have, a lot of people want to invest. They want to pull money from checking or savings and they want to put it into the market. Just talk to your lender prior to that happening. Any money movement is a no-go because we are verifying funds. We have to ask for a lot of documentation. As we're going through this process, it's better if you just kind of stay put, but we understand investing. Investing is important. There's sometimes like a good time. And if you have some extra money that we're not needing necessarily for the transaction, just talk to your lender about it first. Just to make sure
Don't
that
go buy
everything.
a car. Yeah,
Oh
don't
yeah,
go buy
don't
a
go buy
car.
a car. Don't go buy a car. We had a couple closings where someone has either bought a boat, Peloton when that was really big and still really big. They would buy a Peloton right before closing. And all of those things are somewhat fixable, but it just adds additional complexity that is not needed in an already complex process. So just general rule of thumbs on those.
Yeah. It's I get asked this question like, well, I asked you recently on mine because we were getting to ready to invest some money. We had some extra money and
Mhm.
what we were getting ready to do, I immediately text Kara. I told my husband, stop, do not do it. And then she said we could. So that's she said, always talk to your lender.
Yes. We were far enough in the process where that was okay, but I do not recommend, any money movement. Large deposits, another big one. Large withdrawals, another big one. Underwriters will start questioning that, especially if there's other aspects in the file that maybe are a little shaky. You just don't want to give any reason for the underwriter to double check or double think or look into unnecessary items.
Yeah. And that goes to another question a lot of people have.
Yeah.
They think because they're working with, like, you're local, you're here, you're right here in Mount Pleasant. We
Mm.
can go in and, if we live here, we can go in and see your smiling face,
Yeah.
see you. But once, and you're really good about, you talk to everyone in the
Mhm.
process, you keep everyone involved. But a lot of times people don't realize once it leaves your hands and goes to the underwriter, there's a lot of moving parts. It's not in your hands anymore. And they think that just because they started with one person, that
Mhm.
person's handling it all the way through.
Yep. And I think, I am very involved. So I do a lot of hand holding and I am always there throughout the process. But once it goes into underwriting, you have basically a judge and jury that is reviewing every aspect of your file. And once they see something, they can't necessarily unsee it. And so it's best if you have someone like me, a point of contact where you can, if you have a question, you can be like, Kara, is this okay? Kara, is it not okay? And then I can help direct you through the process. But once they see things, they can't unsee it. So you were right about that, Lisa.
Exactly. And I've had situations in where people were not using you and they could not get answers. And that's one of the things I love about Care. I can pick up the phone anytime during my process of my mortgage, or if I'm working with a client and they have questions and they don't really understand, and we can all get on a phone call and Care can explain. She can call somebody, get it taken
Mm.
care of, and figure out what's going on and make it happen pretty quickly. Well,
Yay, thank
I
you.
think
I'm glad
that's
you enjoyed your experience.
yeah, I love working with you. So I think that's a lot of information right there. Just people need to realize when they start this process,
Mhm.
don't be buying big purchases. If you have questions before you do something, always ask before you do it. It's better to be safe than sorry and
Yep.
get into the process and can't get your mortgage taken care of. So that's it for today. And if you ever have any questions about your lending or buying or selling in Charleston, give us a call.
Thank you.